This is Jazmine with Listen to Your Single Friend. We're going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the lonely.
Hi friends, welcome back to the show. I'm super excited to have you guys back. This is the second episode of season 2. Gosh, just so much love since the episode came out last week. I'm happy to be back, and I know you guys are happy to have me back. We'll go ahead and just get right into the conversation. Before we do so, keep the convo going with us on Instagram and Facebook. Listen to Your Single Friend. Twitter is Your Single FRND. Make sure to tune into our accounts on Fridays for Screenshot Fridays. It's always shenanigans. Remember, I'm uploading these episodes to YouTube, so check me out over there. I do have a new office. As you see, I'm posting more clips in a different space. So I'm super excited about my new office, and I'm going to be doing some more YouTube content. I've already recorded a few things, but yeah, go ahead and check us out on YouTube. Listen to Your Single Friend. All right, guys, now it's time to answer last week's trivia question.
What is the leading online dating service based on paying customers? So this online service, online dating app or whatever, is the top one based on the amount of people who are paying. Is it A, Match, B, Bumble, C, eHarmony, or D, Tinder?
So the answer to last week's trivia is Tinder. I was kind of shook because I'm like, really? Like, I've paid for apps before, but Tinder is never one of the ones that I would. I personally just do not have good Tinder success. And I say this all the time. I don't know what it is about Tinder. I recently just refreshed all my dating app profiles. So I've changed my bios, updated my pictures just with some more current pictures, and just, some fun stuff in my bio. So I did log into Tinder the other day. I'm going to give it another try, but this answer actually surprised me. Apparently, majority of the people who are paying for apps are paying for Tinder and having success. Child, I guess me and Tinder be having beef, but we're going to see what happens, y'all. We're going to see what happens. It's time for the quote of the day. The quote of the day this week is, "You are doing fine. Give yourself grace." I just love this because it's so simple, but it's like it packs a punch. You know what I mean? Like, we beat ourselves up. We, aka me. I know I beat myself up all the time. And quote of the day is not always about dating, but there's that aspect. But just life in general, like what I could be doing better, or what I wish I would do, or things that I just wish I would improve upon or be better at. I'm always just, pushing myself. And sometimes you just gotta chill. Like, we're good. We're doing okay. We're fine. And even if we're not where we want to be in life and love and career, whatever the case may be, give yourself some grace. Like, pandemic or not, it's been a rough year. It's been a rough year this year, last year. Like, it's just so much going on in the world. And we all just out here and we trying. As long as you're striving to be better than you were before, it is okay. You're doing amazing, sweetie. All right, guys, now it's time for goals and goofies. So, this week for goals, I have found greatness, y'all. I am so excited about my recent discovery. So, there is this company that is starting in the next, I want to say the next month or so. They don't have an exact launch date yet, but they said they'll be launching this fall. It's called Carpe DM. Like DM, like sliding in DMs, y'all. That's clever as hell. So CARPEDM. It's so cute. Oh, but wait till y'all find out what this company is about. So the founders are Sally Hama and Naza Shelley. The company is a dating app. It's a dating app geared towards Black women. So these two ladies One is a Black woman, the other one is Syrian. These two ladies are Howard Law School grad, I think I read. All I know is they went to Howard, and that means they are my people. HU, okay? Howard women just, ugh, we're just so amazing. We're everywhere. We are everywhere. So, anyways, yeah. So these amazing Howard women, they have done a lot of research on this. They say, Black women traditionally have a harder time on dating apps. And they said this is not new information. So they've been finding specific research to show how to develop stronger relationships and ultimately provide economic, physical, and mental support for Black women. So they are steering away from their law careers and they are starting up in the matchmaking world. And I am just so obsessed with this. They really just want to focus on Black women creating and maintaining healthy and stable relationships. And the emphasis and the focus as a matchmaking service. So they're going to do a matchmaking service and a dating app. The emphasis is on Black women. And that's what makes it different. Because my first thing is, oh, another dating app. You know what I mean? But this is Black women bread. Like, this is for us, by us. So I was just so excited about this. I actually reached out to them, like, whatever y'all need, I got you, because this is just so amazing. Like, I absolutely, absolutely love this. So it is coming down the pipeline. Their Instagram is the which is CARPEDM. So go ahead and give them a follow because they're going to be dropping this dating app very shortly. And I just thought that this was so amazing. And apparently they do a video series called Black Women Deserve, and they're going to be doing member events for a more community-centered experience on dating. Oh, I just love this. And it's in the DMV. And again, did I tell you that they went to Howard? Because they went to Howard. So, yeah, I'm so excited about this, y'all. Like, this is just so cool. It's so cool. And I'm excited about this for so many reasons. Available on iOS in the fall of this year and Android next year. And it's just a community for Black women and anyone interested in dating them. So I'm here for this, y'all. I was just talking my shit about Tinder. Maybe my man is here on Carpe Diem. Like, I'm just so excited about this. So that is your goals of the week. All right, guys, now it's time for Goofies. So this is, I found this on an Instagram page that I follow, but it's screenshots of what this girl said on Twitter. It's always shenanigans on Twitter. Y'all know this. So she goes on to say, I asked this nigga for some money. I'm gonna read it grammatically correct. Obviously, this is Twitter, y'all, and it was not written that exact way, but I'm gonna read it the way it makes sense. So she said, I asked this nigga for some money. He started telling me all the bills he needed to pay. ... Baby, I don't give a fuck. And now you block. Next slide says, it's niggas who will send me $500 plus, no questions asked. And you telling me about some bills because I asked for $100? Baby, get the fuck on. I just wanted my money back for some groceries. I get it. Oh, she was making fun of him. She was like, I get paid every 2 weeks. So she posted screenshots, and at the top you can see him say, LMAO, I don't know, babe. I got some other stuff to take care of, crying face. Rent, car note, phone bill, and a few more debts. But if I have some extra money, I got you, babe, for real. I feel bad not having it, and the bad thing is I get paid every 2 weeks. Her response was interesting. And he said, LOL, what you mean? She said, I don't want it no more. And he was like, why not? She said, because I just don't, LOL. Then the next message is, good morning, beautiful, the next morning. And then a few hours later, he said, how did you sleep? So that's the context. Oh, girl is goofy as fuck because of this. Because, girl, what is you doing? So let's kind of like start this from the beginning. I personally, when I'm dating a man, I don't go asking for money, but I do expect a man later on in a relationship to provide some sort of financial support. But I'm talking like in a relationship. You know what I mean? Like paying for my nails is one thing, gifts, dates, the whole nine, but like I don't outright ask for money. That's just not something that I do. But I know some girls who are about that and who are in their bag and just like, okay, if you my man, what you adding? And you know what? I get it. I personally want a man who is generous and who is a provider. But I don't know. I'm just not outright asking for money personally. So I just want to start with that context. I know some women feel like men, should not have to pay for nails and pay for this and pay for that. So, obviously this girl is a woman. This girl is a person who expects that from the man she's seeing. She's expecting financial support up front. I'm not here to get into arguments about whether men should or should not be footing bills, whether men should or should not be given money. I'm not really here to argue about that aspect of it. What I am bothered about is that if you know that you are a certain type of woman, why are you clowning this man because he is not that type of guy? Like, you really thought that you was big and bold. This is a lesson for everybody here. Women who like to date, men who are sponsoring and tricking and stuff like that. This is not just for those women. This is for everybody. This simply comes down to what are your needs and are you honoring them through the people that you're dating? This girl is goofy as fuck, but it comes down to something very simple. If you know that you're the type of girl that likes McCormick and Smith, like, don't date Outback Steakhouse kind of guys. Like, you know what you like. So don't date guys who don't see the value in going to more expensive or nicer places. If you're a Louis Vuitton girl, don't date pay less niggas. Like, I don't know what she thought she was doing here, but it's like, this man said he didn't have it, and that's okay. And so you're all, let me go back to what she wrote because I want to break this down verbatim. She was upset that he was telling her about the bills he needed to pay. Cool. You know what? You don't care about the bills he need to pay. That's fine. And if you're the type of girl, who dates men who are, giving out money and stuff like that, most of them not even going to tell you like, oh, I got this, and that to do. If they going to let you hold something, they going to let you hold something. So that right there was her first indication. It was cool if she was just like, oh, he started saying that I got all these bills and I can't do it. But the message that he sent was actually what I thought was a very nice message. He said, hey, I got X, Y, and Z going on, but if I got some extra, I got you. Why are you dating a broke dude if you don't want to deal with a broke dude? But like, I don't know. Sis is just a little bit entitled for me. And I hate, like, this is almost sounding like I'm agreeing with men. So I wanted to be clear. I do not be agreeing with men. But like, I just wanted money back for some groceries. Okay. Did he like eat these groceries? I don't know. The thing is, when it comes to the whole men paying, I'm right smack dab in the middle. And so people are gonna have different views of this based on, where they stand. I personally stand in the middle. I want someone who supports me, but it's not gonna be later on. Clearly, this ain't your dude. Because first of all, like, you can just tell that this is not her dude. So it's just like, you're doing too much. And then let's get to the very, very big part of this. It's dudes who send me $500 plus, no questions asked. And you telling me about bills because I asked for $100? You know what that tells me, y'all? That tells me there are not dudes who will send her $500, no questions asked. Because that's the thing. If this is your lifestyle and you used to it, why are you going up about a dude being broke? Like, I honestly don't understand. You going up about this dude not being able to afford this. But if this is the lifestyle that you're used to, if you're so used to a man who does X, Y, and Z, why does this dude not having it or not being able to do that? Why is this such a big deal? That's my confusion. So yes, this girl is goofy as fuck, because if there's people who will send you $500, why don't you ask them since you just want money for groceries? Like, I am so confused about this. Like, I don't know what she thought she was doing here, because in an effort to drag this man who just didn't have, and he might not be broke. He might just, like, broke is subjective to me. I think I think broke is like, it's a mindset and it's a behavior. Like, it could be a man making $100,000, but he got $97,000 in expensive. That man is broke, okay? And he makes six figures. So to me, broke is subjective, but this man clearly was saying that he would be willing to do so. He's obviously not a dude that is used to women outright asking this. I could tell by his reaction. But he said, you know what? If I got some extra, I got you. And he probably wasn't going to give her nothing, but it is what it is. But still, like, you're blasting this man, but you so used to this lifestyle. All of this is broke girl behavior. Like, honestly, it just is what it is. This is broke girl behavior because you're dragging this man. And like I said, broke is a mindset. This whole mindset, like, well, I just wanted money back for some groceries. Like, it's still gonna send me $500. Clearly not, because you're real upset about this little $100. It's not a big deal to you, but you're real mad about it that you gotta shame him and post tweets about it and post screenshots. I am disgusted. So she goofy as fuck for this, because no, girl. If this is the lifestyle that you're used to, go ask the man who's gonna give you your 500 funky ass dollars. Go ask somebody else. Go beg somebody else. But you mad at old boy because he told you, hey, I got bills. I can't do it. Or I can't do it right now. Ugh. Girl, some of y'all be making us look bad. I was like, no, she just went out real bad, and I know that she got dragged. And I think that, this was not a dude that she was seeing, because that's the thing. If this is a dude that she was like with, if this is her man, she would already kind of know his situation. She would already kind of know, like, okay, this is kind of what his disposable income situation is like. You can tell by the type of dates he's taking her on, the frequency of the dates, and just kind of his general lifestyle. If he has disposable income, it's not something that you need to ask. But she just went very, very up about this, and I was just confused because it's given entitled. I hate when I have to agree with men, but yeah, she's tripping, and I honestly was just like, I'm over it. Goofies. All right, guys, now it's time for the main segment. I wanted to discuss something fun, and I was just thinking about, like, how annoying it is that men be asking the same dumb ass questions. And I'm like, it would be great to just have a discussion and just talk about answers to some of, like, the common dating questions we hear. So this is not about questions you should be asking necessarily. It's just questions that we typically hear when we're out and we're dating. So I did my Googles and I pulled some questions that I know that we've all heard. I know that I have heard all these questions personally, except for one or two. So I am literally speaking from experience. And another thing that made me want to talk about this is sometimes certain questions, they can be triggering. Even if they are a common question, like the infamous "what you doing" text. You know what I mean? Like, these are just my answers to what I feel like are some common questions, and my just general commentary on why they are asked. I just wanted to give you guys some insight on navigating these messages without being triggered or having a meltdown. Because if you get too many "what you doings" in the same week and no follow-up, we be upset. AKA me, I be upset. Like, please stop sending that. But you don't want to have a meltdown or have a breakdown every time you get a message like this, because it happens and it's going to keep happening. So, just want to talk about how to respond to that. A major key to dating is staying ready so you don't have to get ready. Dating is no different than practicing for a job interview. Like, you always need to be prepared. What are your strengths and weaknesses? I'm actually doing a whole episode on how similar dating is to interviewing and trying to get a job. But that is just one of the similarities I just thought about is, you always have to have an answer to certain questions. And the same thing applies to dating. So the questions I pulled, sometimes you'll get these questions via text, on the phone, on FaceTime, even, in person, on a first or second date, or on an app, on a dating app. if I had to call it, I'd say most of these questions come within the first 2 to 3 weeks of dating. So just please keep that context in mind. Some of these questions are okay and good questions to ask, and some of these questions are okay for later points in time. And some of these questions I just don't like at all, or I think shouldn't be asked at all. Never mind the early or later stages, but all these questions get asked, whether they're good or bad timing. So we're going to get into it. What are you looking for? Or what are you looking for on here is a variation of that. A lot of these questions will have variations. So one of the major asked questions is, what are you looking for? For me, if I'm on a dating app, I will usually give the stock answer. I've told y'all this before. My answer to what are you looking for on an app is, I'm looking to meet people and make connections. If a man presses, I will specify I'm looking to make romantic connections, but I usually don't offer that up. Before you've even met someone, dating apps are just weird. So before you even met someone, it's just like, I don't like to go into a big spill about it. Hey, I'm just looking to meet up and see if we work. See if I even want to be around you for 10 minutes. You know what I mean? But definitely looking to date and make connections. So I do specify that, because if I just say I'm just looking to, meet and make connections, they're gonna, oh, well, we should like go grab coffee or go grab a drink or come to my house. So I do specify that I'm looking to date and make connections. If you're in person or on FaceTime, I typically will say actually a close variation of the same thing. Like, I'm looking to meet people and I'm looking to get to know them. Like, I believe in marriage and I want to date and I want to have fun. Like, all those things are true at the same time. But I personally don't just shoot out the gate. I'm looking for a husband. Like, and the thing about that is I've been on the receiving end of that, and it made me uncomfortable. So I get why people tell you to steer away from saying that. And I don't think that makes you any less intentional with your dating. My answer to that question is always short term. Anytime someone asks me what am I looking for, I give them the short term answer. In the interim, I am looking to date and get to know someone better. What that looks like is going to depend on the dates. So when you ask me that question the first week versus the third or fourth week, my answer is going to be different. Like, because by the fourth week, I'm be like, oh, like, I'm looking for, to something a little more serious, because I like this person. But the first week, what am I looking for? I want to go on a date. That is what I'm looking for right this minute. So my mindset is I'm answering that question in the short term. And if spelled out, if pulled out, I absolutely will be honest. I definitely want something long term, but that's the thing. I can meet someone fun and they be my fun date buddy. You know what I mean? And I could say I'm looking for X, Y, and Z, but that's just not how the cookie crumbles. I find that coming out the gate and saying I'm looking for a husband, it just makes things too heavy and puts too much expectations on stuff. But again, be specific, because I also have friends that are, right now just looking for something casual. They want fuck buddies and they are being honest about that. So the key here is to put things in there that really indicate what your interests are. Either you're out here looking to fuck or you're out here looking for love. It's one of the two. Like, it's no different. It's just one of those. Like, that's just it. So you want companionship, you want that, situationship, whatever. Like, but it's usually one of the two. So put some sort of detail in there that indicates what you're looking for, but make it clear, I want to get to know you a little bit more, because I don't really know if that's going to be you. I just don't like the whole shooting out the gate with the I'm looking for a husband thing. Yes, I'm looking for a husband, but I don't even know if I want to be around you after a couple of minutes. I don't even know if I want you to breathe my COVID-free air. Like, I just don't. And I feel like men, and I think I said this on an episode before, I feel like men hear the answer to what are you looking for and they automatically assume you're talking about them. So I really, really caution you ladies. Some of y'all gonna be upset about my answer on this, but I really caution you guys, even though we know we're not talking about the guy sitting in front of us, they are gonna feel like the expectations of what they said falls, or of what we said falls on them. So that's why I say short term, I'm looking for dating, because I expect the man across the table to date me. That's it for now. So that's my answer to that question. Another question that we hear often, what are you looking for in a partner? Now, here is where I get very, very vague. I actually get very vague. And the reason that I get very vague is this. I feel like sometimes people ask this question because they want to feel you out. So if you say, well, I like a man who texts me every day and someone who sends me a gift once a week and someone who sits and watch a movie with me every Friday, that's the type of partner that I'm looking for. What is that man going to do, whether he's looking for the same things you're looking for or not? He's going to match exactly what you said. And just, I've been in this game long enough to know, like, I'm not giving you the blueprint. I'm not giving you the blueprint. So my answer to this is vague. I am looking for someone to be themselves from the beginning so we can determine if we are a match. I am looking for someone to be their true and honest self. And you don't even have to put the part on there about so we can determine, if it's a match. But that's what I'm getting at in that answer. I'm just looking for someone to be authentic. Use that word. People love $1 million words. I'm looking for authenticity, and I'm looking to get to know a man's character. Why? Because if I get to know your character and I find out you ain't shit, then I don't want you no more. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. I don't, some folks will be a chameleon, and you just kind of have to guard that in dating. Because if you answer, what are you looking for? And it was clear you're looking for something a little bit more serious. And then they ask you, what are you looking for in a partner? And they know they're not looking for something serious. They just here for a good time and not a long time. They still might match what you say just to get what they want out of that situation. So my answer for what are you looking for in a partner is very general, because I want you to be exactly who you are. I have the discernment to know after 2-3 weeks, I know what your character is. Because I ask questions and I get up in the business and I watch and I listen and I pay attention. You know what I mean? So even if you do go and spell out what you're looking for, you can do that, but just watch and pay attention. Another one is, what are you doing this weekend? So for me, that depends on what day you asked. So if it's Friday and my schedule, may be empty, I'm going to tell you that my schedule's packed this weekend. And the reason that I do that is because I feel like most times it's a gauge for a date. If it's spelled out like that, what are you doing this weekend? Most times the fella is gauging, actually, what are you doing? Because they're trying to make plans. So I'm very much against last second ask outs. So, I don't like men asking me on Friday to do something on Saturday. You don't have that kind of access to me. And so for me, if it's Friday, I'm going to be like, oh, I'm doing this tomorrow. And then on Sunday, like, I'm going to make myself sound busy. Like, even if I'm going to be watching Netflix, like, I'm going to make myself sound busy. But if it's like a Wednesday, I might just say, oh, I just got this one thing on the agenda that I'm looking forward to. I will always respond with something, no, because I just don't like men assuming, oh, I don't be doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like men just assuming my schedule is free and it's open and it's yours for the taking, because it is not. Even if I ain't doing nothing, I'm doing me, and I'm at my house and I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm not getting dressed for you at the last minute. So I always am, making it clear, like, I got things going on, even if this particular weekend, because that's happened in the past too. This particular weekend, I might have a free schedule, but then the next 3 weekends, you can't find me because I'm busy. So, like I said, I always, throw a little caution to the wind and just say, oh yeah, I just got this one thing I'm doing, but for the most part, I'm chilling. And then that just kind of lays it out for, oh, okay, well, after you do your one thing, can we meet up, blah, blah, blah. So that's a common question. What are you doing this weekend? The other one is very similar. It's, can we hang out? Or can we hang out this weekend? Or do you want to hang out? So those are the 3 variations of that question. I do not like the word hangout. And I know I'm being nitpicky right now, but it matters. Like, words matters. My favorite podcast to read. Words mean things. Shout out to them. I do not like the term hanging out. And I have just learned my lesson the hard way. I was going. I was texting this guy that I was getting to know, and we had not been on our first date yet. And when we got ready for, clearly things were leading towards, us going on the first date, he's like, oh yeah, we should hang, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, hang, you know what I mean? And so like, I knew that I didn't like it, but for me, it was like, okay, I don't really like that word, but like, I'm not gonna trip out about it. But like, men who use you just watch what they say and watch what they do. Men who use words like, can we hang, or do you want to hang out? Just be mindful. This is not 100%. It's about 70, 80, 90% of the time. But using like casual terms like that typically means it's going to be a real casual situation for them. And just in my experience, in that particular instance, that was the case. Yeah, we should hang. No, take me on a date. Like, I am quick now to use the word date. Like, men just get the heebie-jeebies when you say the word date. But I'm just like, no. Like, can we hang out this weekend? So I'm just like, oh, my response in that scenario now that I've learned my lesson is gonna be like, oh, I would love to go on a date this weekend. I'm free on this date. I'm gonna use the word date because I want you to be clear that that's what this is. Don't be all this, oh, we're going to hang out or we're going to chill. That's another variation. Do you want to chill? Ugh, I'm disgusted. Next question is, what do you like to do for fun? So this is another question that men use just to get a gauge for dates. At least in my experience. And so one thing I caution you ladies on, if this seems like a very clean cut kind of guy, you met him out at a bar, he had on his suit at happy hour, you guys exchanged numbers, and he calls you and, it's just like, oh, so what do you like to do for fun? He's gauging for a date. But do not like tailor your answer. Like, say the truth. And this is for in person and online. Like, if he looks like a clean cut guy, don't fail to mention that you like to party and dance and you like to go to clubs or whatever the case may be. Like, don't tailor your answers for what you think that guy is into. If he seems like the athletic gym type, don't be all, oh yeah, I go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week. For me, that's true. I go to the gym multiple times a week. However, that's not the first thing I offer up because I'm not doing that shit with you. But it's just like, that's a thing for me, but that's not my thing, if that makes sense. So if I know that you like that, that may come up later. But I'm going to tell you what I actually like to do. And I'm not going to tailor it because I think that, oh, well, he seems like the turn up, so I got to tell him my turn up, or you know what I mean? Like, don't do that. And this is an indicator. This is your first indicator actually on if you guys have common interest. One time this guy I matched with, he was super, super outdoorsy and athletic. And he asked if I would ever go hiking, like implying like if we went on a date. First of all, no. So you can kill me? Absolutely not. But really though, like I said, I'm a gym girl, but do not have me outside with bugs and nature. Don't have me outside. So, if we both mention we like the outdoors, then the connection is starting to form. So it is a good thing to actually say what you actually like to do, because then you can see, oh, you like Harry Potter, me too, And even if you are like a homebody, be mindful of how you approach saying this. Don't just say, I like to be in the house to watch Netflix, because like he's literally going to turn around and ask you to do just that. And like, can you blame him? Like, that's literally what you told him. So like, I'm not saying don't say you're a homebody, but don't just say that, if that makes sense. Like, what do you be doing at home? Like, if you're a homebody right now, you're thinking, but that is what I be doing. No, you don't. You be at home doing other stuff. You be cooking. You be doing whatever. Like, add some context to it, because he's getting at who you are and what you like to do. But that hidden question is in there, because he's trying to figure out how to date you, and and that we'll talk about the whole asking to, come over and chill or whatever. But, that doesn't inherently make him a bad person if all you offered is, I like to be in the house. If all you offered is, I like to be in the house, and he wants to take you out and he wants to date you, and you say, well, I like to be in the house, he's going to keep you in the house because that's what you said. So just be mindful about that. Say something like, I'm a homebody. I like to cook. I like to do arts. I like to read, watch documentaries, work out, like, etc. Say something like that. But also add on there, like, I don't usually do home dates until after a few dates, though. And, like, he didn't ask you that, but you need to say this up front because, like I said, what do you like to do for fun is a gauge. It's a gauge of interest, but it's also a gauge about what type of red carpet he's about to lay out for you. So I would definitely find some way to add in there. These are the things that I like to do. Come up with your list. Do not just say, oh, I'm a homebody. I like to Netflix and chill. And then turn around and be mad because he asked you to Netflix and chill. And I guess the same applies with, like, what are your favorite books, movies, etc. Don't tailor your answer. Get into the nerd shit. Everybody knows within 5 seconds of meeting me that I'm obsessed with Harry Potter and Hamilton. Like I said before, this is just where you find out all the things that you guys have in common and what you don't have in common. And if you're even gonna be compatible, like, some men love horror movies, for example, and, like, I just absolutely will not watch them. Like, this guy had it in his profile and he mentioned it when we were talking, and, like, it's not particularly a deal breaker for me, but I appreciate it, like, he was honest about, like, it's something that he really, really, really likes to do. And I'm just like, oh, child, I'm not gonna be watching movies with you. So, if it was to go any further, like, that's not gonna be a thing we connect on. So, questions like, what are your favorite things and what do you like to do? Just be honest and then find out, where you connect or where you don't. Let's get into a few common online dating questions that get asked. So, one of the ones that I have seen a few times is, why did you swipe right on me? Or why did you decide to match with me? I feel like some men just want to be gassed sometimes. Like, that actually happened to me. This guy, I was just like, oh, I thought your profile was interesting. He's just like, but, like, do you think I'm attractive? And I'm just like, ew. Like, I hate when people fish for compliments. It's actually a very big pet peeve of mine. And the way he handled that conversation, it was very clear that he wanted me to say, like, yes, I think you're cute, blah, 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 blah. Like, ugh, it was just doing too much. But I mean, I do struggle being complimentary. So, and I've mentioned that before. I try to be complimenting with men. But the way that he was, like, fishing for the compliment, I was already getting irritated. And then there's, like, so I'll just get into it. It's a gauge, it's a gauge for what you might be looking for. So, like I mentioned in the beginning, how you navigate that what you're looking for question. If you swipe right on a guy because he's sexy and you say that, now the conversation's sexy and flirty. And that might not be your intention. So you really have to be careful with your response. And so that's why that guy's emphasis on, but do you think I look good? It's like, why are you so emphasized or so focused on, looks and appearance? Some people do have words of affirmation as their love language, but it's just like, we just swiped. Obviously, I think you're attractive if I swipe with you. So you, like, fishing for me to, like, tell you that, it was just very, very annoying. And like I said, coming right out the gate and saying, oh yeah, you sexy as hell, look at those lips, like, now we in sexual territory, which is okay if that's what you're looking for. So why did you swipe right on me? This is all about strategy, y'all. Like, why did you swipe right on me is damn near another variation of what are you looking for? And your answer needs to be consistent. There are two different questions, but the answer needs to be consistent with each other. They need to be congruent, because if you say, oh, well, I'm looking for something more serious, blah, 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 blah. And then he say, oh, so why'd you swipe right on me? And you're like, because you fine as hell. It's just like, okay, sis, what are we doing? Like, what's happening right now? And so just be mindful and make sure that, you know, your answers make sense and are consistent with some of these other questions. Another one is, how do you like this app? Or a variation of that is, how has your success been on here? So I've been asked that a few times. And this kind of gets me annoyed, because like my jerk reaction is, bitch, I'm still here. If I'm still on this app, do you think that I like it? Like, that's usually my jerk reaction. But I have told y'all before, you can't be going out like that. Like, I can always tell what someone is looking for and how healthy their dating mindset is by their reaction to this question. Like, my reaction with you know, just I'm still here, like that shows that I was frustrated. And if a man is looking to get older or get over on me, and, you know, just looking to get whatever he wants out of the situation, suddenly he's going to turn into like superhero and the man who's saving me from my dating app, you know, mess. Like, he's the one that's going to save me from this mess. All of a sudden, he's going to turn into this perfect guy. Oh, I hate the apps too. You know, I don't want to be on here anymore. Like, don't show your hand. That's kind of been my theme here, is don't show your hand. And some folks ain't gonna agree with that. Y'all want to go straight out the gate and say, I'm looking for a husband. How's that working for you? Like, if that's working, cool. But I'm telling y'all, like, there is an art and a strategy to this. You don't have to necessarily lie, and you don't have to, like, you know, make up stuff or put on or be someone that you're not. But you really do have to be tactful with how you handle some of these responses. And so for me, how do you like this app? How's your success been? My response is, oh, I've made some good connections on this app. How about you? Or I've met some great gentlemen, and, you know, I think this is, you know, a good app. Or I think there's some pretty cool people on here. Some variation of positive. Your reaction to this question should not be negative. If you had a relationship before, just be like, oh yeah, this is great. I met my ex there. You know, it didn't end up working out, but I've had good success with this app. You know, like, say that. Like, your answer to this question needs to be positive, because if the response is, oh, I hate it here, it's so ghetto. Yes, it's ghetto. We all know that. Like, come on. We all know that. But, you know, I just can tell the healthiness of someone's mindset around dating by how they respond. Like, my direct response was like, I'm still here, ho. Like, I don't want to be here. Save me. That is what I was basically saying. Like, save me. Get me out of these swamps. But you can't be answering questions like that. So be very strategic and be very tactful in how you handle that question. Another common question, specifically with online dating: have you been out with anyone on here before? Yeah, and I definitely been asked that. So, again, keep it positive. Yeah, I have met some awesome men and made some great connections. The goal here is not the truth. It's not that you've been ghosted 3 times this year. This is the one where you need to seem like your dating life is very flirty and happy and friendly. This one, I'm going to just say it. Yup, lie if you need to. Do not spill your guts here, okay? This is not the time to talk about all your horrible dating app experiences and how terrible everybody is and how men suck and we hate it and it's terrible. Like, this just ain't the time to do that. It's just really not. Like, you want to seem positive. Everything the first few weeks should be flirty and friendly. That's it. Don't be all, yeah, every man I goes out with just wants sex. It's so hard out here. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. So, not necessarily lie, but just, you know, I would be honest and say, yeah, I've been out with some pretty cool people. Hopefully you're gonna be cool too. I think that's very cute and a great flirt to say. I'm gonna say that next time. Another one that I've gotten is, are you on other apps? And I don't understand the purpose of this question. Like, it usually leads to shit talking all the other apps and your experiences with the shitty quality on all of them. And so I don't know. I would just avoid that in general. Because I just don't think that this matters. Like, I don't think it matters that I'm on the other apps. Yes, I'm on every single one of them. And I saw you on 2 of them too. But I just don't think that matters. I personally would just say that I'm not on other apps if I'm not, or just be like, I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm just glad I met you on Bumble. Like, I don't know. Men are weird with that one. I don't really like that question. I just think it's very, very strange. And I don't think it matters. But this might just be a gauge to see, like, how out here are you? Like, how down bad are you? Like, are you really on every single dating app known to men? Yes, I am. Absolutely. Like, I absolutely am. You could kind of change it and just say, oh, yeah, if you're on Bumble, just say, oh, I tried my hand at Tinder, but, I kind of wanted to see what Bumble was talking about. Like, so you're not really answering the question. Like, because you're probably still on Tinder. You know what I mean? Actually, I like that answer better. Use that. Just say, oh yeah, I was on Hinge, but my friend told me she had success on Facebook dating. Hopefully I get lucky. That's cute. That's cute. So yeah, use that. Another question that I get asked, and this gets asked in person too. Like, if I met some guy when I was out, like hanging out over a weekend or something like that, and we exchange numbers, one of the first things that next morning or the next couple of days is, can I have a photo, or can I have a picture of you? Or he'll ask, the other variation is, can I have your social media? So if he specifically asks about your social media, let's address that first. And this is usually from an online dating perspective. I see this 2 ways. Most times men are just trying to gauge if they're being catfished or not. So what I will do is I will screenshot a picture of my social media. And there was a point where, they could see, what my @name was and everything. But this is just a way to gauge if they're being catfished or not. So I kind of understand that. But another reason is just like, I don't know, men just want to be in your business. And we know the whole men are visual creatures. And like, I don't know, my experiences with social media exchanges with men that I've talked to on the apps, it just hasn't been good, because like, we'll exchange social media and then now they're liking all my photos and DMing me and just, just kind of, it gets sexual real quick. You know what I mean? Whereas on the app, we might have been having a great conversation. And all of a sudden it's like, ooh, this is a great picture. You should wear this when we go out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just gives me the ick. Like, I don't like exchanging social media with men anymore personally. If he's doing a catfish situation just to make sure he's not being catfished, I might still screenshot my page, but I won't show what my @name is. And it'll just be like, here's a screen grab of my Instagram page. I promise I'm real. Or I'll just tell him, just FaceTime me. But the thing is, a lot of times that's not what they're looking for. So, which goes into the other variation is, oh, can you send me a photo? It's so annoying to be. I don't know which is worse, being asked to send a photo or being asked what you doing. Probably a photo, because men are being icky when they want a photo. 9 times out of 10, oh, I want to update your contact picture. If you got an iPhone, you can't even see that damn picture. Like, get off my line. This is not the early 2000s where the contact picture actually was like a thing. Y'all be doing the most. Like, when someone calls, you can see it, but it's only for a couple minutes. Like, or a couple seconds. So men just be being icky and wanting photos. And so when they ask for photos, that at that point, I will say, oh, here's my Instagram. And then one time I had this guy say, I want to see something that's not on your Instagram. And I'm like, nigga, I don't even know you. How could you? Yeah. I was so bothered by this. Because I'm just like, what is happening right now? What is happening right now? Like, no, Absolutely not. Like, and in that scenario, that was when I was still sharing my Instagram pages and or my social media. Like, I keep men away from my social media completely now because I got shit to hide. I don't want them knowing about this podcast when we've just started talking to each other, because then they're gonna be all up in my business. But now I don't share my socials at all. But this whole asking for a picture thing, at the time I was sharing my social, and he just came right out and said it like, no, I want something that's not on social media. And I'm just like, you just want a nude. Like, dude, relax. I do not know you. This is not happening. No, absolutely not. Like, men are just so annoying with this "can I have a picture" thing. So my response now, I haven't been asked that since I really stopped sharing my social. Oh, you know what? I do think I have. I'll just get sassy with this one. With this one, my response would probably, if I was asked this today, can I have a photo? I'll say, oh, you can take one in person when you take me out this weekend. Like, I'm a straight shooter sometimes, and I'm a little bit sassy and snarky, and I'm just like, oh, you can take one yourself. Like, you can take one when you see me this weekend, or if he hasn't, made plans yet, just be like, oh, when we catch up, you can take me out, or when we catch up, you can take a picture yourself. You know what I mean? Like, most women I know will just send the fucking photo. I'm anti that because I feel like you're being icky, but I probably would. It depends on how hot he was, honestly. I'm just being honest. If it's a guy that's really attractive, then I'm gonna send you a photo. It probably still gonna be a picture that's on my Instagram page, though. But I'll send you a photo. But it really just depends. And I think it depends on how he acts. You know what I mean? Like, if you just wake up the next morning and be like, can you send me a picture? Like, I get it. This has happened to me, like, specifically after being like out and like people are lit. Like, the next day, you're like, dang, I remember talking to this person, but I don't remember what they look like. You know what I mean? You gotta have some finesse to it, fellas. I'm sorry. Like, if you just come straight out the gate, like, can you send me a picture? Like, that's some asshole shit. And don't ask me like that. So, I don't know. The picture thing is weird. It really just depends on what you want to do, and what your goals are. We all know the whole men are visual thing. So, I would send a photo, but it's going to be like a really well-to-do photo, or really a photo that I would post on my LinkedIn profile. Like, it's going to be a nice photo. It's not going to be me turning up or doing anything crazy. And if the man wants to be honest, like that asshole I was dealing with, and just be like, no, not that kind of picture. Like, then he's shown his hand, and you already know what type of dude you're dealing with. So for that one, navigating that question is more so about like what you feel comfortable with. I know what I feel comfortable with, and I'm not into sharing social media anymore at all, until I've gotten to know a guy a little bit more. But with the pictures, I don't know. It just depends on the day for me. All right, not specific to online dating, but these are just general questions you might get asked on a first date or in person, or even via text or on the phone. When was your last relationship? So anyone that listens to the show knows that I've not been in an exclusive relationship for about a decade, but I date a lot. So when I answer this question, I usually just refer to the person I was most recently dating, like even if it wasn't exclusive, because I'm like, oh yeah, I was just dating someone about a month ago. We weren't looking for the same things really, because that's pretty much the next question that they're going to ask is, why did your last relationship end? And I'm like, damn, nosy. Like, I just keep it cute and say, he was a good person, but our values were not in alignment. If you want to add on, I was looking for a long-term commitment and he wasn't, that's fine, because you're basically just telling him what you expect without being heavy-handed and telling him that, oh boy, dogged you out and had you in a situationship for 12 months. So that why did your last relationship question is super easy to navigate. Like I said, just keep it cute. That's kind of my thing with a lot of these, is just keep it cute, because you're gonna have time, if he's fortunate enough to get to that point, to get into the dirty details of why you're not, talking to the last guy you were talking to. You know what I mean? Or dating or in a relationship with. But the whole time frame thing, I don't really like that question. When was your last relationship is very close to how long have you been single. And I would just caution you guys on telling men that you are a long-term single. I have seen men use this to like almost gauge your desperation or like try to finesse because they know you're frustrated and haven't gotten laid in a long time. So like don't set yourself up. You know what I mean? Like I tell you all the time, I do not tell men that I've been single for 10 years. Like I've not been in an exclusive relationship for 10 years because when I talk about how often I date, then it's like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? But it's like, I don't know. Men have this, and people in general have this weird thing of like wanting people who are wanted. You know what I mean? Like people is the theory. So yeah, I be out here, I be dating, the men's love me. So let's be clear, it's not a case of, I've been single all this time because I'm desperate and this and that. You know what I mean? And I just feel like when you tell a man a long time frame, it's kind of like, well, why don't nobody want you? I just feel like that's where their mind goes. So I would just keep it cute with that question about how long you've been single or answering the when was your last relationship? Because it's the same question. What they're trying to do is basically get a gauge of how long you've been in these streets. How down bad are you? Or in the other direction, did you just get out of something and are you on a rebound? I mean, let's keep it funky, ladies. Like, I know some of y'all that be in relationship after relationship after relationship with no long breaks in between. And so he might be gauging, are you on a rebound? Are you just trying to, you someone to get over the person you were with? If you were in a relationship for 6 years and you've been single for 2 months, you probably are not done healing. So it is a good question in general, with the honest answer if it's not been a long time frame. I say if it's been more than a year, you're gonna have to get creative. Because once you start hitting 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, it's like, damn, you've been single for 4 years. Because I don't know, like I said, I just feel like when people hear those long-term answers, they're very judgy. And I ain't got shit to be ashamed of, y'all. And I said this before, I do not mind, telling people in general about my dating story and my journey and how long I've been out here. But when getting to know a new person, I feel like people are just on edge and a little bit judgy. And now, aka the beginning of connecting with someone, is just not the time to go into a huge spiel about your dating journey. So, like I said, I just keep it cute. Oh, I was just, dating a guy a few months ago. We just won a line. Keep it cute. This also leads me into my favorite question, which I knew was coming, and I'm being sarcastic when I say favorite. Why are you single? Or the variation, why are you single? What's wrong with you? Or you seem so great. Why are you single? Or you're fine as hell. Why are you single? So those are all the variants. Yeah, now I hate this question in all forms. It implies that there's something else that I'm supposed to be doing right now. Like, I don't know. Men don't ask this question to be offensive most times. This guy the other day when I was out was so flabbergasted that my beautiful self was off the market. No, he actually said that. So I'm not I'm not gassing. He actually said, I just can't believe, like, wow, like you're really single. Like he did the most, but I was here for it. But some men don't mean to be offensive when they're asking this question or variations of it. But I have one answer for this. Just one. I just haven't found the right match yet. It's not snarky, it's very simple, but it's true. People like just ask this to be asking, in my opinion. Because I'm just single because I'm single. Like, mind your business. And even if I was single because I have some, inherent personality disorder, or you know what I mean, I sabotage every single relationship I'm in, I'm not gonna tell you that. Like, even if there was something that I was self-aware about in my dating life, I'm not gonna be all, yeah, I get real clingy after the first date. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna say that. So it's like, people just be asking us to be asking. So my answer to the question is just very simple. Some form of, I just haven't found the right person, or, I date and I make some good connections. Just haven't found the match for me yet. Keep it cute. please and thank you. This question is it was a big trigger for me because I would just be like, but I don't want to be single. You know what I mean? Like, this was such a triggering question for me. Like, why are you single? And I'm like, I don't want to be. Like, it was so triggering. And I used to get so frustrated. I used to get upset about this question. But like I mentioned earlier, you could tell by people's responses to certain questions how healthy their mindset on dating is. Even if you've been, dealt a shitty hand when it comes to your dating life, keep positive and just put good vibes out there. You know what I mean? Saying I'm single because all these men ain't shit, please don't do that. And I feel like I've said this before, but do not be saying men ain't shit. Like, I'm big on law of attraction, and if you're saying men ain't shit, you're just going to attract that. Like, if you honestly truly believe in your heart that men ain't shit, like, why are you even dating? Why are you even trying? The thing is, you don't believe that. You've had some bad experiences. We all have. And you're frustrated about that. Don't put that energy out there. Just be like, oh, I've connected with a few men and it just didn't work out. We were on two, different wavelengths. So I'm looking forward to connecting with someone who is more suitably matched for me. I like that answer. Another fun one. Do you want kids? This is not the time to tell a man your 2-year plan. I just tell people I love being an aunt, and I wouldn't mind my own once I'm married. Like, so that's all he needs to know. Yes, I'm open to children. You don't need to know. I got about 3-4 years to get my eggs cracked before I go and put these eggs in the freezer. So you don't have to give him your time frame. But just say, oh yeah, I love being an aunt. I wouldn't mind my own once I'm married. Or, I'll be open to kids if I meet the right person who makes me want to have them. If you want kids. If you don't want kids, tell them no, I don't want kids. And tell them that early. I did have a guy I was talking to on a dating app, and he was like, I don't want any more kids. Is that going to be an issue for you? And I was like, my whole thing is, like I said, I'm very short term when it comes to certain things. I'm just like, well, I don't give a fuck if you don't want kids. What they got to do with me? I'm just trying to go on a date. But he was saying that because he knew that is a huge deal breaker. He's like, no, I don't even want to go out. I don't want to waste your time. I was like, all right, whatever. But, I know people who don't have kids or who don't want kids, that is a big, big, big thing when dating, because it's hard to meet people, especially when you're younger. Like, I think that guy was a little bit older and had been divorced and already had his kids. But especially when you're early 30s and you just know, I don't want kids at all. I just don't want them. Definitely be upfront about that. This one is the big guns. Do you want marriage? Hi guys, this is Jazmine in post-production. I am interrupting the main segment. Yes, I am. The reason is this episode ended up being very long at like 1 hour and 50 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and clip the main segment right here, right now. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and do a part 2 because there was so many questions that I wanted to go over. And it was just such a long episode for it just to be me by myself, just kicking it. 2-hour episode. So I'm going to go ahead and clip the main segment right here and close out the show and finish the final segments. And we will continue on with navigating common dating questions, part 2, next week. Now it's time for the dating tip of the week. Don't be too harsh. I talked about some of the questions that I hate or just conversations that annoy me in general in dating on this episode. But guys, don't write people off just for joking in the early days or asking fun or silly questions about you. Like, I've seen some girls go absolutely berserk because a guy made a joke or, said something silly. Like, we're all trying to figure this dating shit out, men included. They always don't have it together either. So, sometimes if it's via text or even in person, when you really like someone, people get nervous and sometimes they say dumb stuff. So don't be too hard on people. The first few weeks of dating should be fun. Give people grace and do not be too harsh. All right, now it's time for Down in the DMs. This is a segment where you guys send me questions, ask for advice, all that good stuff. If you have a question that you want me to answer here on the show, please email me at ListenToYourSingleFriend@gmail.com with Down in the DMs in the subject. So the question we got this week is from Zaria. The question is, how did you handle hot girl summer? With the streets opening up, I kind of felt the need to just go on multiple dates and not settle into anything this summer. Did you have any issues juggling dates? Good questions here. Good questions here. Thank you, Zaria, for your letter or for your questions. So for me, hot girl summer, I was just busy and I just had a lot going on with my family and I was moving. Like I did date a little bit, but I did exactly what I told y'all not to do. And I didn't have my eggs all in one basket, but I was not actively seeking to keep my roster going. And when you start liking someone and spending a lot of time with them, it's really, really easy to get into a habit, and it's that much harder to keep your roster going. So I didn't particularly have any issues juggling dates. For me, it was just like I should have been going on more dates and dating more guys. Because I really did just do what I tell y'all not to do all the time. And because I was just so busy, I was just like, all right, I'm dating somebody, like that's it. And so hopefully you guys had a better hot girl summer than I did, but I mean, definitely got to work on some of the things that I am focused on, the show and other things, and just kind of got to focus on myself for the most part. So I will just say dating was just not an integral part of my summer this year, because there was just so much going on in my personal life and trying to gear up for season 2 and just keep everything going with the show. So, I'm here for the girls who want to go on multiple dates and not settle down. I just kicked off the fall summer or the fall bucket list challenge, which basically is the equivalent to the summer version that I put out. I just changed a couple things, like I tweaked a few things to be specific to the fall. But I'm about to have a hot girl fall basically because I did not date the way I wanted to. I was a little bit too busy to be able to do so. And then when I did, date a little bit, I just, I had my egg in one basket. You know what I mean? So it's about to be a hot girl fall for me, baby. Well, like a lukewarm girl fall. I don't know. We about to turn up, okay? Because I think cuffing season is BS. Like I posted this on a page, and I didn't want anybody to misunderstand me because I had posted a meme where this guy was basically like, "We too old for cuffing season" or something like that. And so people are like, "Oh, so we shouldn't do cuffing season." I believe in dating. I do not believe in specifically deciding to date because it's fall and you want someone to have warm cocoa with in December. Like, you should be dating regardless. So, in theory, I do believe in the idea behind cuffing season, but it's cuffing season year round. It's always cuffing season. Like, it's never not cuffing season. How about that? So, for me, I definitely think that, I'm going to definitely get out there more. I mean, I do want someone to, snuggle with, but I want someone to snuggle with, period. Not just because it's getting cold outside. So yeah, I know some folks are into that whole cuffing season thing and the draft. No, I am not into that whole timeline because you can meet someone, the first day of December, and that could be a little boo thing. Like, and also, I just don't like the pressure that comes with cuffing season. It's just like, oh, darn. Now it's November. What am I going to do? So I personally don't get riled up into cuffing season. I'm dating, I'm in these streets. So thank you so much for your letter. All right, guys, now it's time for trivia. All right, so with this trivia question, basically there was a poll taken on people's experiences with online dating and how it's impacted them positively or negatively. So I'm only going to read half the question or half the trivia, because if I read the other half, you're just going to do the math and figure out the answer. So, again, there's a full version of this statistic, but I'm only going to read half of it because I don't want you guys doing the math to figure out what the answer is. So about 26% of people say they've had mostly negative experiences with online dating, while blank percent claim to have a positive experience? Is the answer A, 9%, B, 22%, C, 37%, or D, 16%? Compared to 20% or 26% of people who say they had a mostly negative experience with online dating, what percentage of people said they had a positive experience? You'll have to find out on next week's episode. All right, guys, that wraps the show. Oh my gosh, there was just so many good questions. Please stay tuned for next week for part 2 because it was just so much good stuff. So super excited. Hope you guys, learned something from this episode, and we're able to kind of figure out, okay, how would I answer some of these questions? I'll probably be hitting some of the more major questions on the second half of this episode. But go ahead and share this episode. Make sure you have done a review on Apple Podcasts. Let all your friends and family or whoever know. I have started the fall challenge as of today, so I need y'all to get on that. Half of that stuff is self-care, so let's get into it, y'all. Let's make this fall a great season just for fun in life and for dating. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode, and I will talk to you next time.